Let's get going. Okay, let's start with the band this morning. But first, let's roll those shoulders. Just kind of check in with how everything is feeling. And then move them independently, because we don't always move them together. They need to move independently. You have a right side and a left side. So let's take our band and we'll hold it out shoulder height, that shoulder width apart. You can adjust that to get the right tension as we go. We're going to pull straight apart. And think about squeezing the shoulder blades together, and your arms are the accessory mover. They're not the primary mover, but your back is. Roll your shoulders out again, and we'll set up and we'll go on 45-degree angles, keeping your arms nice and locked out. Both arms are pulling. 3 more on this side, and then we switch angles. Okay. Reset, roll your shoulders down, check in with how they're feeling. And also check in to see if as you're pulling your ribs out, and see if you can keep them pulled down so they're over your hips. Let's go side 2. Beautiful. Shoulders getting tired by now, I bet. So let's take the band back to shoulder height, pull it out, reach up, and pull down just behind your neck. So we're going to lift up and pull down behind your head. And we're going to take this into a bigger movement soon. But again, this is your chance to check in and make sure you're not popping your ribs out. Try to hold your posture stacked, shoulders over ribs over pelvis. And then we're going to take it front and back. So this is more mobility. You can pull against the band. You can give yourself more slack if you have it. Good. Let's do 2 more like this. Let's bring the band down. Okay, now that we've found our postural muscles, I want you to make fists with your hands and punch down to the floor. And we're going to do a silly walk 2 ways. So the first way, we're going to do like Charlie Chaplin, where you're pushing down with your hands, keeping your postural integrity in your upper body. Seeing if that frees up some of that hip mobility. So we're going to press down and walk across your room, or maybe 10 steps. And then go back, same number of steps. And then we're going to make our butt kickers moving also. So we're going to reach and pull, and move forward. I'm going out of screen. Okay. And then check in. We won't spend too much time here. Tick-tock to hula hoops in both directions. And figure 8s. Good. And knees and ankles are important, so we'll come down here and then we'll mix it up again for our water. And reverse. And let's get those ankles warmed up. Make sure your feet are connected. Ankle to lower leg, to knee, to hip. And switch sides. And go in both directions. Then bring your feet back under your hips, prance it out. Find your balance on one leg, and let's do some ankle wiggles. Oops. Rotate and lift. We have a bunch of side lunges coming at you today, so get your thigh nice and warm too. And switch sides. Ankle wiggle side two. Moving just from that lower leg. And then rotate and lift. Doesn't want to rotate today. See how high or how much you can bring that ankle up to the ceiling. Good. Okay, so we're going to step back into a lunge and come up to a high knee. Just a little gate patterning up and down. If you want to, you can try to come up on your toes. Change your angle if you need to. My foot just went way out to the side. Do about 8 on one side. Find your balance. This is a good thing to check in with first thing, right? Up. Take it up onto your toes. And then let's settle in with our legs nice and wide, side to side. This is not the workout yet, but your legs are going to be ready for it when we get there. Here we go. And let's hold it and pulse on one side. And then let's turn towards that side that you were pulsing and bring your knee down and up. No more. Step it in, try to straighten that front leg, and then we'll walk it around and come down to the other side. Little pulses on this side. And then we're going to turn in that direction, drop that back knee, and lift it up. Okay. Try to straighten that front leg, get a nice big stretch, step it in, walk back to center, hands on floor. Let your head relax, let your neck relax, nod your head. Take your head now. Bring your hands onto your knees, don't get dizzy on me. And let's come into our shoulder drops. And we'll get ready to work. So our first set today are side lunges with a pause. That's why we were doing so many side lunges to warm up. I want you to grab a nice heavy weight. We're gonna make your legs work. And then we're gonna finish them off with gatekeepers, which are kind of like low squat jacks with our arms opening and closing like gates. So, kettlebell, dumbbell. We're gonna go for, let's go for 8 on each side. We're gonna have the weight up at our chest. It's gonna help us keep our chests up, eyes up, and go down to the side, hold, and come up. Down, hold, we're going to one side. Or if you want to add a little pulse there, you're welcome to. Think about if you've got enough weight, not enough weight. Too much weight, let's go over to the other side. Down, hold, push off that foot and come back to standing. So make a note of how the weight feels to you on your good side and your not so good side, which is also the non-dominant side. Make a note and use a different weight if you need to next time. 8, I think this is 8. Okay, we'll bring our weight down. And we're going to start like we're doing the waka in New Zealand. We're going to start like this, and we're going to go for 20 seconds. Let's do it. Out, in, out. Step it if you need to, but keep moving. Get your heart rate up. And rest. Okay, let your heart rate come down. We'll give ourselves about a minute here to grab a drink, let your heart rate come down, adjust your weights, find a heavier weight, find a lighter weight, double up your weights, a minute to do the math for adding your weights together if you need to. And just because your weights don't need to be the same in each hand. If you got a 12-pound weight and an 8-pound weight, 24 sounds too much, 16 is too little. Use one of each. In the real world, we are never perfectly balanced with the exact same weight on each side of our body. So it's a different kind of challenge. So in fact, that's what I'm going to do. I'm taking 12 and an 8. So we have 2 weights. We're going to put them up on our shoulders, which will also help us stay upright. And let's go off to the side. So down, pulse, and up. Down, pulse, up. 3, 4. And then notice if you're going down a little bit lower. Let's go for 10, 2 more. Reaching back with that hip, thinking down like you're reaching for a stool. Catch your breath, get set up, side 2. 2, 3. Good. And a little breathy. I up my weights. Hang with me. We have one more. Whew. Carefully put your weights down. We have 20 seconds of gatekeepers. Ready and go. Staying nice and low as you can, even if you're stepping it. Keep your hips low, keep those knees bent. And rest. Good, shake it out. We'll take another minute. Let your heart rate come down, grab a drink. Aren't you glad we warmed up the adductors before we started doing this? We have one more round. And we have about 20 seconds. So stretch what needs to be stretched, Find the weights you want to use. If I can make a suggestion, let's go a little bit heavier. And let's mix up the movement just a little bit and see what you got. So I went from 112 to a 12 and an 8. Now I got 2 12s. And I'm going to hold them carefully in both hands right at my chest. If I could get 25 pounds on my adjustable weights, I'm going to do it with my dumbbells today. So center, we're going to go side to side, but super slow. So we're going to go out to one side, up and over, side 2. And up and over, up and over. Chest up, eyes up, don't let the weights pull you forward. Let those muscles stretch and then lift you. Leaning on your elbows is cheating. I just caught myself. There we go. 6. We're going to do this 2 more times. 7. Woo. And 8. Last one. Up and over and hold. And back. Weights down. Let your arms swing out just a little bit. And we'll do 20 more seconds of Gatekeepers. Get into position and let go. Out in, staying as low as you can. Nice. Let's go for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good work. Shake it out. Check how you're feeling. My legs are actually feeling pretty good. They're feeling worked, but they're feeling good. The sign, hitting the sweet spot. It's okay to feel tired. Not okay to feel pain. Whew. So I think we are working our way through 22 already. I think we are somewhere in late winter, early spring of last year, before the big snows, before in 2022. So our next group, we have 3 exercises. We have the standing chest press to a pull down. I want you to go as heavy as you can. If that changes the number you can do, we're not working on hitting a number target. And I'll tell you, we can go anywhere from 8 to 12 reps. I want you to find a weight that leaves you feeling like, maybe I could do 1 more, but I'm done, okay? So that's our first move. And then we're gonna do bent over rows to an upright row, which is this movement. So we're gonna get a little bit of hip hinging in there. So we're working through our hips, but also engaging our back muscles throughout. And then we're gonna sit down and just focus on the rear delts and just do a quick set of flies with light weights. So maybe 2 pounds, 3 pounds. If you're feeling beast-like this morning, 5 pounds, 7 pounds, something like that. Okay, so if you start heavy, you can go lighter. If you start too light, you can go heavier. We'll see, I might be way too heavy. But let's set up. So goalpost arms start. Come into a staggered stance and pull your ribs down. So we're never arching our back to get this move done. Let's squeeze the elbows together and pull them in, keeping your elbows at 90 degrees. 2, 3. So if you're on with me this morning and you're going lighter and you're doing more repetitions, I will wait for you. That's not a problem. If you're going too heavy and you're stopping early, that's okay. You do you. And 8. I'm going to stop at 8. You do you. If you're going lighter, if you're going heavier, you have a little bit more time to rest, and that's perfect. That's exactly how it should be. Right? If you're going heavier, you need a little bit more rest time. Repopulate those muscles with the ATP so they're ready to work again. Take about 30 seconds here. Yes, that was when we do that pull down, we're working our backs. The next move, hinging row to an upright row. It's also working back and shoulders. So we're going to take a bit of a rest. Be kind to shoulders for the sake of working our back. Oh. Take another 15 seconds or so. And then we'll set up. Same thing, if you want to go heavier, you're not going to do as many reps and you'll finish sooner and you'll get a longer break. If you're going lighter, you can absolutely do more reps. Don't follow me. Do what you can do. If you get to 15, stop. You need to go a little bit heavier. We'll wait for you. Not a problem. That's how strength training goes. So grab your weights. Let's set our shoulders. Rolling our shoulders back and down. We're going to hinge forward like we're doing a deadlift, but we're just holding ourselves so we can get that row. Unhinge, upright row. Elbows lead. Hinge and row. And then upright row. 3. 4. Nice. I see people making adjustments. I like that. Back muscles are strong. Sit back into your hips. I'm going to stop at 10. I know it's coming. That you do too. So finish up when you're going to finish up. I'm waiting. There is no rush. We have all the time there is to get through this workout. Okay, let's get a chair in place. Actually, I'll use the bench. Grab a lighter weight. The rear delt muscles are little. They're not very big. It doesn't take much to work them. So what we're going to do is you can keep your knees together and fold it over your lap. You can take your knees apart and let your torso fall in between. But your hands are outside your ankles. Maybe they're over your feet, depending on where your arms are hanging. Let your neck relax. And we're going to lift pinkies up to the ceiling for 12, 11, 10, 8. Keep your neck relaxed. 3, 2, and 1. Nice work. Put your weights down carefully. Do a little spinal twist while we're sitting here. Give the muscles we were working in that little bit of a stretch. We're just moving them in a different direction than they were going. Take your hands behind your back. Go for a chest stretch. Pull your shoulders down away from your ears. And swing it out. And we'll go for about 15 more seconds. Just rest, have a drink, find the weights that you want to use for round 2. And we'll go in about 10. Okie dokie. Drop those weights, chest, and a pull down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8. I'm going to stop there because my weights are heavier than I usually use. I'm done. You have a couple more. Keep going. Don't stop on my behalf. Good. Keep going. We're waiting. And if you're waiting, you're going to roll your shoulders and shake your arms out. And when everyone is done, we'll take about 30 more seconds. The backstroke arms feel good. So I usually do those with 8 pounds, and I feel like I have energy to spare. I never quite fry the way I do when I'm doing a regular workout or my own workout. So I upped it to 12 this morning, and that's why I'm stopping at 8, because holding your arm up here, I'm feeling it. So I'm gonna let my shoulders get used to that feeling. And sometimes that's what it is. It's not that your chest muscles and your back muscles can't do an increased weight. It's all the accessory stuff that has to get used to moving that weight. So let's grab our weights again. We'll go for our bent over hinge for a row and an upright row, a double row series. So hinging over, make sure you're sitting back into your hips. We're going to do a regular row and an upright row. Usually I stay a little bit lighter than I can lift, so I can keep talking to you. I'm going to do 2 more sets because we can. Head and shoulders. There we go. Very nice. If you're still going with lighter weights, keep going with your lighter weights. If you're all done, you're done. Nice. We're waiting. No rush. When I say we're waiting, I just mean we're not going to rush on to the next movement without you. We want everyone to come along for the ride. Okay. So find your lighter weights. And again, it could be very light weights. We're working the small muscle that's here. Shoulder blades to the back of your shoulder, back of your arm. Super important for posture. And we're going to hit it. So over your knees, weights down by your feet. Let your neck relax. Pinkies up. Power up. Exhale as you lift. One more. And that's it. Round 2 is in the books. Do a little twist. Breathe, let your ribcage expand. Switch sides when you're ready. Reach forward, let your back stretch. Yeah, hamstring stretch too, but I also get a back stretch. It feels good. Be kind to your back before we do round 3. We have another set of exercises after this, so hang on. Okay, adjust your weights. I think I'm going to come down from my 12s, go back to my 8s. Let's do our last set. You guys ready? So setting your posture, racking the weights, and let's go chest press and pull down. This feels like a gift. Funny what a difference 4 pounds can make. Nice. And this is 12, I think. So that's good. We've been doing shoulders this whole set. My shoulders are getting pretty tired. Let's put those down, shake your arms out. Get the blood flowing. Let those muscles rest for a few seconds. Go for about 15 more seconds. Your shoulders stretch and relax. Twist it out. Find your weights for doing upright rows and the back rows. Set your hinge. And let's go. Hinge, unhinge, an upright row. Hinge to a back row. And an upright row. Good. Like what I'm seeing. Just an upright row. Let your elbows lead so your hands never go above your shoulder. There you go. Three more. Hinge, row, upright row, hinge row, upright row. Last one. Hinge row, upright row. Woo! Feeling a little tired. Shake it out. But where I'm feeling it is front of the shoulder, right? Because that's what we're using for lifting. So find your seat, find your lighter weights. We'll go in about 10 seconds and we'll finish off the set and then we'll have a bigger break before we move on. So let's go in 3, 2, 1. Let's hit 12 to 15 rear delts if you can get there. 2, 3. You guys are looking good. And when you're all done, just put the weights down and let your body dangle. Reach forward with your arms. Make the back stretch. If you take a big breath in here, think about expanding your rib cage up towards the ceiling, out to the sides of the room. And slowly come up. Don't get dizzy on me. Roll your shoulders out. We'll do a little spinal twist and I will tell you what's coming next. Grab a drink if you need it. I'm getting all sweaty today. We're on the floor. We have our Pilates-style. I use Pilates loosely. It's my version of a glute series based on something I may have learned in Pilates or not a long time ago that's evolved over time. So you're the beneficiary. We're going to do down dogs to a plank push-up. So sometimes when you get flowing between positions, it makes that push-up a little easier, even if you don't go all the way down. See if you can get into that groove as we're doing it. And then we're going to do Shin Box for hip mobility. So everything is on the floor. I'm going to adjust my camera and we'll get started. So quadruped, at least just 4 feet. We're on hands and knees. So, we haven't done bird dogs in a long time. So before we get started, let's check in. The only time we're going to do them, one set, find a balance beam if you can. Curl your toes under and let's stretch, crunch, stretch, and switch. Checking out with how everything is moving. We did a leg set, upper body set. Keep flowing between these, about 3 or 4 on each side. Nice way to see how everything is connected. What's tired, what's not tired. Okay, so let's settle in on hands and knees. You want your knees under your hips, your hands under your shoulders, so we're not nearly as wide a stance as we were. And we're going to start with fire hydrants on one side. So I want you to think about keeping your hips steady, level, and not rolling. It's not how high you can lift your knee, it's how much movement you get out of that hip joint. And then we're going to take a straight leg back. So we're staying on one side. If you want to adjust how your hands are on the floor so that your wrists are comfortable, by all means do that. So right now my hips are rolled up. I'm going to set them back down so they're level and do little pulses. I'm going to bend that knee and push straight up to the ceiling. At least I think I'm pushing straight up to the ceiling. And then we're going to stick that leg out straight, swing it out to the side, and then back into the chest. Out to the side, into the chest. 3, 4, 5. Last one. And then straight leg out and take it out to the side. Cross over and tap down. Out to the side, cross over and tap down. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, bet you can't guess what side of your hips you were working while you were doing that, right? We have the moving side and the stationary side. The stationary side, who's doing all the stabilizing. So let's go to side 2. We're going to start, turn around. We're going to start with fire hydrants again. So keeping your hips nice and still, lifting. Doesn't have to be a big lift. It's like clamshells. It's not the size of the lift. It's what you're feeling in your head. We're going to take that leg straight out. Set your hips so they're level. Squeeze that glute and lift that straight leg up. Now we're going to bend our knee, press that flat foot up to the ceiling. And then we're going to do a knee tuck to a side kick. 2, 3, 4, 5, Come back to a straight leg. We're going to tap out, out to the side, tap down over your foot. Bumping into my legs. So you get a little bit of side to side flexion in your spine. And when you're all done, come into child's pose, and we'll give your hips a little rest. Walk your hands over to the right. Stretch from your left hip to your left shoulder. And let's go all the way over to the left, stretching from your right hip to your right shoulder. Okay. So we've done these before. Usually I tell you push-ups are optional. I really want you all to try. Even if you get a little it's not genuflection if you're doing it from your elbows, whatever the term is. So even if you get to a push-up and you're just doing that instead of going all the way down, give it a try. You never get stronger if you're not trying. And like I said, sometimes going from this position into a push-up and then back up is a little bit easier than just going with a strict push-up up and down. You get to use a little bit more leg to help stabilize and move you. So let's go for 6 and we'll call it good. So from here, take it up and come down for a push-up. Take it up and then for a push-up. If your arms are exceptionally sore or tired from what we've already done, you do you. Listen to your body, but you've given it a try. You should feel good about it. And when you're all done, drop your knees and come into child's pose. So if you're going to come up from that child's pose, shake your arms out. We're not going to use them again, but they've been worked. So circle out your wrists like waves. Ooh, it feels good to stretch them this way. And I will meet you on your bottom. We'll get going in about 15-30 seconds. You have to go, you gotta go. You can stay, please stay. Have a great day. Oh my gosh, I don't recognize that room. Okay, Shin Box, the exercise everybody hates. So if you think about it, we ultimately want to have your knee close to your foot, but try not to do it like this. It makes it really hard to get up. It's a lot easier to push through your legs and your knees if your knee is not, if your legs are not so ladylike tucked under each other. So we're going to be not ladylike. Set our core and our arms and go from one side to the other. So if you're not quite here, where you can do it pressing out and engaging your core, prop yourself up on your hands and get your hips used to doing that movement. The internal, external rotation with all your body weight over your hips, all you're doing with your hands behind your back or pressing into the floor is taking some of that weight off your pelvis. If you can do it, press forward, use your core, and we'll go one more time each side. And yes, you do wiggle forward. There's nothing I can do about that. When we get back to side one, see if you can take a breath in, roll up onto your knees, and come up to standing. Come down, take your knee down, settle down, and go over to side two. Do your feet have to stay in a perfect alignment? No. This is all about getting up off the floor. Somebody called this a fancy exercise name called Shin Box. But however you can get up off of the floor, more power to you. Up, down, 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 and one more time. Over, up, up, up. One more fun maybe than doing a Turkish get up. Okay, nice. So wherever you are with that, you are. That was great work. Hold on to your knees, sit cross-legged. We're gonna be finished up a little bit early. I don't want to go through all of those twice. So let's make some circles, stretch your back out. And reverse. Exhale as you hinge forward. Pull on your legs and round your back as you go back. Inhale. Exhale, flat back. Inhale, round your back. Come into a hurdle stance, half hurdle. So normally we sit centered. Let's rotate our body over that straight leg and reach forward. I don't care if you get to your knee, to your calf, to your ankle, or if you can reach your toes. Just hang out here and get a nice big stretch throughout the side of your body while holding your hips in this position. If you can press your knee down into the floor, whether or not you can reach your toes, if you can press your knee down into the floor as you're reaching forward, we're stretching the back of the leg. And then we're going to take the side, same side of the bent knee. We're going to reach up and reach behind and come into a modified side bend. There's stretching side two. Keep lifting that hip up high. Push the outside of your foot into the floor. And then if you want, you can look up at the ceiling, up at your arm. And come on back down, and we'll do the same thing for side two. So half hurdle, rotating so you're over the extended leg and reaching forward. Use your breath to see if you can melt it into this. Melting might be the wrong word. It doesn't feel like melting to me right now. But on the exhale, see if you can just hinge a little bit farther, reach a little bit more with your arms. Only with the exhales. Your legs start shaking, come out of it, back out just a little bit, and keep that knee pressed down. And then let's take the arm on the hurdled side, the bent knee, reach up and behind you, lean into that knee, and let's do the modified side bend on side two. Lifting up that hip, reaching as far as you can with that top arm, looking up the ceiling. And then let's come out of it. Actually come onto hands and knees. Knees nice and wide. Let's make some circles, 3 or 4 in each direction. Just checking in. What feels loose? What feels tight? And then we're going to straighten one leg and cross the other leg in front. So we're going into a form of pigeon. There's no right, there's no wrong. Don't hurt your knee, don't hurt your hips. Something hurts, don't stay in that position. And if you can, let's try to stay upright a little bit. So again, it's your torso weight that's opening up that hip. If it feels good to shift your weight, go ahead and shift your weight. Everyone is different. Everyone's hip structure is different. Everyone's knee tolerance is different. So you do you. And if it feels okay, we're not going to stay here too long, but see if you can come down on your elbows and drop your head. If that's not comfortable, stay upright. We'll stay here for about 10 seconds. And then consciously try to relax your hips. Because even in this position, when you think you can't do anything but stretch, come out of it. You might find that you're gripping, trying to control, trying to hold. So let's switch sides. This one's back up on our knees. We'll straighten out the other leg, cross, and slide down into it. Some people might feel good with a block under their hip. It allows them to relax. We're going to stay upright if we can. And it's okay to move in this position. Breathe into this position. See if you can find the muscles you're holding tight and release them. It's surprising how you can go into a stretch and still be gripping your muscles. And if it feels good, come down into that sleeping pigeon pose with your head down. And we'll stay here for another 10 seconds or so, and then come back up onto hands and knees. Let's come back up onto hands and knees. Quadruped is the position of the day. And let's take your knees wide, thread the needle, and sink back. So you do a little bit more back and shoulder stretch. You can get your hips down towards your heels, your head on the floor. Adjust your arm position so you're getting a stretch across your back of your shoulder. And then try to reach a little farther with both arms. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly come up, and we'll switch sides. Reaching across and reaching forward. Settle those hips down by your heels. Reach forward with that arm. And let's bring it up. Back onto hands and knees. You can crawl forward. We're all done. Let's roll our shoulders. Swing your arms. See what things feel like. Nice work this morning. And today is Tuesday, so I'll see you back here on Thursday.